If you didn't see my last video, I spilled some tea on Dave Ramsey. Whew! It was a little intense. But today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of Dave Ramsey's plan. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will be able to decide if this plan is right for you or if it is not right for you. There are a lot of things in the Dave Ramsey plan that I agree with. Even though my last video was about things that I don't agree with that Dave Ramsey teaches, there are some things that I do. So we're going to break down the pros and the cons of each one. I'm also going to be sharing some of the comments that you guys had in the last video. Some of them are intense, some of them are agreeing, some of them are disagreeing. This one I thought I would read. I don't understand it. I don't know what the thought process behind it was, but we're gonna, what do you guys think of this one? Kicking us off in the comments was Anubis Network that said, am I going to listen to the guy who's done it or the nobody that took a $20,000 pay cut? I don't understand. What is my pay cut that I had, that my husband and I took, have to do with if I'm credible or not? To be honest, I feel like I'm the pay cut in the fact that we've been able to still increase our net worth and keep our lifestyle regardless of the pay cut makes us credible. I don't know. Just what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Dave Ramsey's big plan is his 7 baby steps. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you already know the 7 baby steps. If you don't, just pause this and take a screenshot of the 7 baby steps. But I'm assuming with these that you already know the baby steps. So the first pro is a zero-based budget. And this is a principle that I agree with 100%. I think that you should have a zero-based budget. I think that you should be budgeting forever. That's something that my husband and I will always do, is we'll always have a budget. We'll always be in control of our money in that way. I really feel that when you have a budget, when you're finalizing at the end of the month, that's key, is finalizing at the end of the month. That's when you're able to really hit those goals. That's when you're able to put any leftover money that you have at the end of the month towards your debt, towards your investing, towards your savings, whatever it is. And that's going to help catapult you and hit your goals so much faster. So having a zero-based budget, I think that is a huge pro of Dave Ramsey's. The first con is his investing advice. Now, I talked about a couple of these in my last video of his, but his investing advice, I honestly don't agree with. First of all, the 401k match. I don't believe in stopping a 401k match while you're paying off debt. I understand the gazelle intents. I understand putting every penny towards your loans, whatever it is. But that's your company match. That's free money that you're leaving on the table, whether that be 3%, 5%, 7%, whatever it is, that's free money that you're leaving. So I honestly believe in doing at least the minimum of company match while you're paying off debt. Anytime that your company has a match, that you should be taking advantage of it. Number 2 is the high fee mutual funds. I personally, that is way too high of fees for me to be paying. I don't agree with those. I personally recommend doing low cost index funds and low cost ETFs. I have a full guide on dividend investing, everything you need to know about dividend investing video down below in the description box for you guys. I also have a bunch of investing for beginners videos, but the mutual funds, paying those fees, I really don't think it's necessary. And he also really pushes his ELPs, his endorsed local providers, which they pay a fee to be on his site and to be one of his agreed endorsed local providers, specialists. So they're getting cuts, he's getting cuts from it. And honestly, I would just be doing it yourself in index funds and ETFs. And then lastly, with investing is the 12% returns. Honestly, that's not realistic. Having a growth of 12% return, guaranteeing 12% returns, counting on 12% returns, that's just not realistic. Now, some years, you may have a year that's 15 to 20% returns. That's incredible. Great year. And then you may have a year that's a lot lower. That's more like 5 or 6% returns. It all depends on the market. And honestly, I've seen it's more of an average of 7 to 9% versus the 12%. And with that 12% returns, you're also going to be paying fees for your mutual funds if you're following his plan and his way of investing. But like I said, I have tons of investing videos. I'm also starting a second channel on investing. It's going to be a super simple investing for beginners channel, so stay tuned for that. The next pro is you will learn the different types of insurances that you need. There's different insurances that your company sells. Some of them you need need, some of them you don't need, and some of them are just ridiculous and just a waste of money. So he breaks down all the different types of insurances and really will hone in on why you need the different types. I personally was like, holy cow, we need life insurance. I honestly thought that we didn't need life insurance until we had kids and a lot later down the line. And I didn't realize how affordable it was until Dave Ramsey taught me about life insurance. I personally recommend Besto Term Life Insurance. They're a really great company. You can get a quote in like 3 minutes online, super fast, and you don't need a medical visit to sign up, to enroll, to get your policy, which is amazing, especially with COVID going on. You can get your policy super fast. They're awesome. I'll have a link down below in the description box for you guys, but Besto Term Life Insurance, amazing, trusted company. They're awesome. The next comment is from Financial Lift, and he says, I agree that Dave has a lot of flaws, but to contradict some of the hate he gets from most people, his main audience are people that have deep-rooted finance problems. I'm sure he knows that credit cards can be good, but he knows most people will make a late payment or something and end up in a bad spot. Also, I'm pretty sure the lowest credit score you can get is 300, but get your point. Okay, so the next con is Dave Ramsey is speaking to the masses. And this is something that it was a little hard for me to get and hard for me to really comprehend and make my own personal finance plan through it. When I first started Dave Ramsey, I was to the T. I was 100% all or nothing. I was a Dave Ramsey pure through and through. You can watch my old videos. Whoo, some of the stuff, it was Dave Ramsey pure. But you have to understand that he's speaking to the masses. If he tells people that are really struggling with credit card debt, that you people over here are struggling with credit card debt, but you over here, you one person over here, you can handle them, you can pay them off responsibly and build your credit, and it's fine for you over here. No, he can't do that. He has to be for the masses and just total all or nothing type of thing for his plan. And like this person said in this comment, he is geared more to people that are struggling with money. Someone that's struggling with money and really deep in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, versus someone that is making 6 figures but also has a lot of debt as well. Maybe they're a medical student, maybe they're a lawyer, and they have those high debts but also have a really good income. Then the plan isn't really as much for them as it is for this person. It's hard to have a generalized plan for everyone. It's tough when you're speaking to the masses in that aspect. The next pro that I agree with Dave is no new cars. I personally really agree with this, and he taught me about cars and how cars work and how they lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot. I personally am someone that bought a brand new car at 18 because my previous car had a lot of problems. So I wanted a brand new car, no problems. I didn't want to take on someone else's problems in a brand new car. Where I didn't realize that if I had just bought a car that was 2-3 years old, it would still feel brand new. It would still be an amazing, trustworthy car, but I wasn't losing that value as soon as I drove it off the lot. As soon as that first year was over, my car value would go way down in price. I cash flowed my dream car. We paid cash for a Jeep Cherokee. Now, Dave may say that's a little too high, that I should have gone with more of a clunker. But it is what it is, and we were out of debt and we paid cash for my dream car. We're now saving for Jamie's next car, and this is still a struggle for him. He wants, a brand new Tesla, and he's fine with saving cash for the Tesla, but he's also like, it worries me with the battery and this and that, and what about someone else's issues with the battery? And I'm like, okay, but what's the difference if they have it for a year and we have it for a year and we just a year later? I don't know. It just doesn't really click yet for him, but it is something that we're working through. But I will never ever buy a brand new car again because of Dave. This next comment is interesting and I really want to know your thoughts on this. Joshua says used car prices are going up because of Dave. When everyone stops buying new cars and buys used, won't the demand outpace supply and drive up the price? You know what? Honestly, I never thought of that. I would definitely like to know your thoughts. I know that when I paid cash for my car, I thought I was going to get some crazy discount paying cash for it. And honestly, I didn't. We didn't get any discount for paying cash. The only money that we saved from paying cash was we didn't have to pay interest with financing it. But we did not get any deal whatsoever for paying cash for my car. Maybe we were buying more of like a clunker, an old car, that's when you can. But when you're buying through a dealership, when you're buying a more expensive car, we paid cash for my Jeep. Yeah, we still paid $25,000 for it, but it was a $30,000 car, $35,000 car originally, so we still saved money that way. But paying cash, like Dave talks about in FPU, doesn't work like that anymore, at least in all this people that I've talked to, all the other friends that have paid cash, not a difference. The next con is the beans and rice diet. Now, Dave really hones in on the beans and rice diet and eating, super cheap, that you are going to be eating, really, really frugally while you're paying off your debt. So hopefully it's not for long. Hopefully it's only a year or two, but that diet is a lot of processed foods. It's a lot of really inexpensive foods. It's eating more from the center of the grocery store versus the aisles, which is all the fresh produce, the fresh meats, all of that. So that part I struggle with. I know that I have eaten that lifestyle, eaten that diet. I've learned how to move past it. I've learned how to save a lot of money on groceries without having to eat all those processed foods by meal planning, by rolling over groceries, by doing different hacks that you can do in your grocery budget to save money without eating all the processed foods. I do have a full course on how to save money on groceries. Right now it's on sale. If you use coupon YouTube, you get $15 off, and the average student is saving over $100 a month off their grocery budget. So that's $1,200 a year. Super affordable course, and it's like $32 right now. So definitely go grab it down below in the description box. I also have a 7-day meal plan that comes with it, a workbook, printables, all sorts of fun stuff with it. The next pro is Dave includes giving in his plan, and I honestly love this. Real transparency here. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, and I know a lot of people don't agree with tithing. A lot of people don't agree with it. So just bear with me if that's you, and this is just my personal own decision. This is just my story that I'm telling here. When I was not tithing, that is when I was in the most financial crisis of my life. When I started tithing again, that's when things started to coming together, and I've been tithing ever since. So even when I was paycheck to paycheck, even when I was behind on bills and I started tithing again and I was still behind on bills, I was still doing that, that's when things started to improve. I personally tithed the entire time that we were paying off debt. Once I got on that budget, number one was tithe, and number two was rent and my debts. I made tithing a priority, and I personally didn't stop throughout the whole time. I didn't wait until after I was out of debt to start tithing. Honestly, it's up to you. But part of Dave's baby step 7 is building wealth and giving. And so I love that. I love that he still has a heart for giving. And honestly, I believe that giving, whether it's to a church, to a charity, to, a friend in need, whatever it may be, that it's a sign of financial maturity. And it's a sign that showing that my money isn't just for me. It's not just for me to hold on to and just to hold tight and never use it, never, be able to bless anyone with it, but it's to give, and it's to bless others and to live a great life and do a lot of fun things with your money. And one of the funnest things for us is giving. The next con is credit score. Now, I got a lot of comments on credit score in Monday's video. I was really surprised the amount of comments that I got on credit score. So Dave talks about not having a credit score, of having a credit score and not having any debt on the credit score. And I used to be in that boat as well. And then I paid off all my debt and my credit tanked. And then we went and bought a house. And because of that, we had worked to rebuild my credit before the house, but it wasn't built up as much as I would have liked, which cost us more money. Now, a lot of the comments that I got is, and I honestly didn't understand this in FU, Dave talks about a credit score of 0. 0 credit score, no credit score at all. You want it to be 0. But apparently 0 is not a thing. Apparently the lowest credit score that you can have is 300. So there's a little bit of confusion, a little bit of debate with that. But Dave's philosophy with that is if you have a credit score of 0 or 0 things reported on your credit score, 0 debt, then you can just cash flow everything. You can do manual underwriting, which definitely is possible, but it can cost people more in the long run. I've had friends that have gone the route of looking into manual underwriting, and the interest rates were a lot higher with manual underwriting than they were with a traditional conventional loan. So it's definitely possible, but it may cost you more money in the long run. So definitely keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's not possible at all. Disclaimer. But it can cost you more money in the long run with loans. It can also cost you more money with your car insurance. They look at a lot of car insurance companies looks at credit scores, and they base their rates around that. Also, sometimes you have to pay extra deposits with like utility companies. Your credit score plays into a lot of different aspects of your life. I personally am all for building a credit score, but doing it without debt, without taking on more debt. We can rebuild our credit score with credit cards, and we're paying them off every single month, and we're building our credit that way. There's different aspects of a credit score to look into. Dave calls it a debt score. I personally still, I don't love the credit score, but I do think it's important. So you need to learn how to do it to your advantage. I have a full video on how to improve your credit score, how to boost your credit score, and I have some other credit resources down below in the description box as well. So go check those out. The next pro is community. And honestly, the community that Dave Ramsey has created, the people that have just embraced his message, embraced his plan, embraced this community is incredible. I have met so many amazing people through the Dave Ramsey community, and honestly, it was great having those like-minded people. That's when I first started my YouTube channel. I wanted to get on fire with paying off our finances, got Zell intense, and really just get that debt out of there. And I didn't have people in my personal life, but I found incredible people online, incredible people on YouTube that just took me in, took me under their wing, encouraged me, uplifted me. I joined the community. I was doing that for other people. And so their community, it's a cult-like following. It is incredible of just having those people that are there for you, support you. Now, some people are very Dave Ramsey do or die, and if you deviate from the plan a little bit, you're not following the plan, you don't understand the plan. And I even saw a lot of those comments in the video that apparently because I don't agree with everything that I don't understand the plan. That's all I'm going to say on that, but there are a lot of those people. But all in all, the community is amazing. Next comment is from SRich28, and they say, couldn't agree more. I call myself Dave Ramsey-ish. His principles taught me a lot of discipline, and I was able to make huge strides financially, but personal finance is personal, and we have to do what works best for us. I use credit cards, and I'm disciplined enough to pay them off every month. And investing in 401k match was another big one for me as well. Kudos to you, though. That brings me to my next point of credit cards, and Dave Ramsey is very anti-credit cards. I personally feel that credit cards are like alcohol, and I will lead you to that video that gives a full analogy, full breakdown of why I think that credit cards are like alcohol. But if you're able to have credit cards responsibly, pay them off every month, you don't spend any more than you would normally, you learn the habits. For me personally, just to give you some backstory on me, I did the cash envelopes. I did the debit card only, all of that. And I learned a lot when I did the cash envelopes. I learned how to really learn my money habits and learn how psychologically my brain works and how it processes money, how it deals with money. So the cash envelope system was really great for me. I recommend that if you're in a deep financial situation that you need to get out of, to try cash envelopes for at least 6 months. Learn it, try it, give it several months, and if it doesn't work for you, that's fine, but give it a try. So I did. I used cash envelopes for several years. Then I switched to debit card only. Now I use credit cards. But I learned the disciplines at cash envelopes that I can now apply to credit cards so that I'm not just swiping, so that when you get to the point when you're making a purchase just for the rewards, I think that's where things get a little iffy. If you're getting to the point where you're doing it just to build credit, but then you're maxing them out and you can't pay them at the end of the month, that's an issue. You should never, ever, ever, ever hold a balance on your credit cards. That 20% interest, ooh, that kills me. I hate it, hate it, hate it. But credit cards, they're not the devil. They can be really great. But I also don't think that they are how people build wealth. I think they're a tool. I think they're awesome. I think they have great perks, but I don't think that is how people build wealth, is by using credit cards. Next comment is from Richie, and he says, I've noticed a lot of people breaking away from the Ramsey method recently, myself included, especially when it comes to credit cards. Once I learned how to use them properly, they've been an invaluable weapon in my financial tool belt. I basically have Christmas paid for this year with my cashback rewards. Yeah, they're awesome. They're a really great tool. They can help to bring you extra perks, cash back. We flew to Seattle. Yeah, when we went to Alaska, we flew to Seattle back, spent 2 nights in a really nice hotel, and it was because of credit card rewards. So that was totally paid for us, which coming from South Florida to Seattle, that is a lot of money on a flight. So they're awesome. Next comment is from Brandon G, and he says, Dave caters to those who are bad with money. They have to be very strict or they will get in trouble again. I think once you are disciplined in your spending and savings habit, you no longer need Dave. So this is an awesome segue into the next pro, is Dave really teaches people how to get on board with money, how to start dealing with their money. I think Dave's plan is best for people that are deep in debt, deep in the trenches, living paycheck to paycheck, where I was, where you just didn't even know what to do. Like, so just, I've got nothing type of thing. And they really help to dig you out. They really help to give that basic financial knowledge. I didn't know anything about money. My parents didn't teach me about money. My school didn't teach me about money. Dave Ramsey and the internet taught me about money. And it really, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine when people are like, I was never taught that. I didn't know about it. I didn't know. I was one of those people that was saying things, but guys, it's 21st century. The internet's out there. That's part of the reason why I made this YouTube channel, was so I could share my story and help other people and teach other people that didn't have those people in their life, or they were too embarrassed to talk to their family members or school about, or friends, or whatever it may be, that they can watch videos on the internet and learn. So the internet's out there. Dave's out there. I think this is an awesome plan for people that are really deep in debt. And then honestly, once I became debt free, kind of graduated from Dave. I kind of moved on to more of the FIRE movement, pursuing more investing, and really digging deeper into that. A really good friend of mine, Brad Finn, what he describes Dave as the undergraduate degree. And then when you move on to FIRE, more deeper dive into investing, all of that, that's more of the like master's PhD. So Dave is a great undergraduate, basic knowledge, and then you kind of graduate on. Next comment is from Julie Fox, and she says, this makes me feel better about my liberal approach we took while on the Dave Ramsey plan. We questioned the same items as we talked about, and changed them to fit where we were in life at the time. All in all, though, I am grateful for the things that I've learned from Dave Ramsey and FPU. It was 1,000% changed our thinking and our future. 100%, me too. I'm so thankful for the foundation that Dave Ramsey gave me, for the foundation, the way that he taught me about money and gave me a passion to learn about money. I didn't have that 5 years ago. I didn't. I was scared of money, didn't talk about money, living paycheck to paycheck, car repossessed, all of that. And because of Dave Ramsey and this amazing community online, that's what made me passionate about finances. And yes, I've moved on, but my respect will always be there, and my life has forever changed because of that. The next con is the debt snowball is not the only method of paying off debt. Dave Ramsey is very big on the debt snowball, so you're listing all of your debts from smallest to largest, regardless of interest rate, and paying them off. This is really, really great if you need that motivation. Dave Ramsey is all about mindset, motivation, versus the mathematical. And he always talks about if you were all about the math, all of that, then you wouldn't be in this financial state as well anyway. So totally makes sense. But a lot of people, when they do the math, then that's demotivating for them. Or if they have the motivation, they're going to be paying off the debt, that's not an issue for them, the debt avalanche may be a better option, where they're paying off their debts in order of interest rate. So depending on where you are, or the debt windfall, that's another option as well, where you're paying off the one that's going to have the highest minimum payment so that you can free up that money for maybe another stage in your life or whatever it may be. So there's different payoff methods other than just the debt snowball. He is debt snowball through and through. I do have a full video breaking down the debt snowball versus debt avalanche, some questions to ask yourself so you can make the best decision for you, because personal finance is personal. And I hope this wasn't too much of a bash Dave session. That is not my heart at all, but just simply showing the facts and showing my perspective on it. And I've been studying this for several years, and I have a lot of opinions. So hopefully this will help you to make the best decision for you and your family. Like I said earlier, I do have a course on how to save money on groceries, how to get the best deals on your groceries, how to meal plan, how to meal prep, how to roll over groceries, how to roll over ingredients, and really just make some really great, delicious meals on a budget and saving $15 if you use coupon YouTube. Let's keep this conversation going and talking about the importance of multiple streams of income, not relying on just your day job, just that one source of income. No, multiple streams of income, side hustles, all of that great stuff. Check out this video here. And if you want to learn more about investing, I have a full beginner's guide to dividend investing, breaking it down super simple terms. If I can understand it, I can explain it. Super simple terms. Check out this video here.